On tonight's panel, we're discussing getting the best rental return for your investment property. Joining me from Fletchers Real Estate, Carmel D'Aspromonte. Hi, Carmel. Hello. And from Empower Wealth, the ever-present Ben Kingsley.
G'day, Des.
Now, tell us, Carmel, someone got a rental apartment, it's on the market, maybe changing tenants, who knows. How do you get the best price for it? Where do you start? Well,
I would start with professional photos. That's something that we're doing and is working quite well. And to ensure that the presentation of the property is immaculate. Tenants are becoming very fussy and expect the property to look great.
It is funny, isn't it? The old dodgy photos you see for rental properties when you think, and because I guess most investors, they want to save every penny they can, but it really does have an impact, doesn't it, to see people want to live there?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a tax deduction for landlords these days. So it's something that I'm very big on, and like you said, it just attracts a better quality tenant as well.
And if you get good photos, they last you years and years and years.
Yep.
So, all right. And people trying to do it themselves, would you recommend people try and rent a property themselves?
Absolutely not. Not at all. We have the facilities to be able to find good quality tenants. We're able to advertise the property worldwide. Absolutely not.
You do the lot.
Yeah.
Now, Ben, you travel the country extensively in your property buying capacity.
Yep.
Is there a big variation in people's approach in different states to how they rent their properties?
Look, Des, I think the biggest observations I have is the talent of a good property manager. A really good property manager won't just also do the photos and those types of things, which I think are absolutely essential. What they'll also do is they'll sell the property. So when, the people are coming through for the inspections, some just stand there and say, would you like an application form? Would you like an application form? I want them to talk about the great cafe around the corner, the fact that this has got an extra deep car park, or whatever it may be that's going to get that range. I don't want to have to drop $10 or $15. I don't want to be conditioned, nor do I want my clients to be conditioned to actually accept that. We've done our appraisals right, that's what we should be getting, and a good property manager should be able to talk the property up just like a good selling agent to actually get a great lease.
Carmel, I reckon it's one of the toughest jobs in the industry, being a property manager. When you're dealing with clients, how are the ways they shoot themselves in the foot? They want too much rent. What are their problems?
Well, it's too much rent, not presenting the property well, not wanting to do maintenance. They just want to do the absolute basic. It doesn't work like that these days. In order to have a good quality tenant and to keep that tenant happy, to have them for 2 to 3 years, you need to be able to do the maintenance and look after your tenant. If you've got a great tenant, look after them.
That's right. I mean, in the market, we're basically around the country, we're in a balanced market. So what we've actually seen through these price growths, we're seeing some first home buyers coming out of the letting market and trying to get in for the first time. So in areas like Sydney and Melbourne, we're in a balanced market. In Brisbane, a same sort of thing. Perth, we're probably starting to actually see a little bit of oversupply. Canberra's the same. Now, when you're in those types of marketplaces, you can't cheat. You can't cut corners. You've got to be in a position where you've got to present the property in the best light, and you have to put your hand in your pocket, because you could have your property sitting there vacant for 6-8 weeks. Now, getting an extra $10 a week, but actually having it only occupied for 85% of the time, that's not good investing. Having the property open for the first time and having it let within 3 to 4 weeks is brilliant. You can get onto that. And so some of the people think, I'm not going to spend any money, and then complain about the fact that it's vacant for the next 8 weeks.
And in the changing world, we've got people who are deciding to permanently rent. What are the boxes they want ticked? What do they want in an apartment? What's the important features at the moment?
Well, air conditioning is one, dishwasher, all those sort of features. They're wanting the modern lifestyle, the modern features in a property. And we're finding that properties that don't have those facilities, they are getting pushed to the bottom of the line.
And probably the standard of tenant, I suppose, isn't as high. When it comes to the big developments, Ben, how important do you think things are like gyms and pools and those sorts of things?
I definitely think that there's a marketplace for those types. Mass volume marketplace. But we're also starting to see the boutique apartments and the smaller developments and that type of thing. For most people who go into those, gyms and the pools and that type of thing, they spend around 12 to 18 months before they start feeling like they might be in a bit of a hotel style accommodation and they potentially want to have less of that and more space, maybe a bit more natural light coming in or quicker access to get down to the coffee shops and those type of things. So there's no doubt that there's a broader market there, and the type of marketplace that, you know, that maybe some of the immigrants who are used to that sort of higher density living, they certainly like to go into that. We know the Asians love the higher density stuff. They actually feel a little bit uncomfortable when they're out in those smaller type apartments because that's what they've grown up with. But I think there's again, it comes down to how you're looking to present the asset, whether it be house or apartment, to get the best return.
And of course, forming a relationship, I guess, with your property manager, that's an important part of it, Kate.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people will contact the property managers for lots of different things. We become their social workers.
Yeah.
But it's very important to have that relationship, and I feel if you don't have that relationship, then you may have to end it and look elsewhere.
And it's also, you want to know what the ground rules are when you start. Like, I guess the minimum or maximum quotes they have to get for small jobs and things like that. You want an element of trust, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You need to be able, or the property manager should be informing the owner of what they need to do, and the property manager should have a certain expectation within themselves to be able to perform well. I guess it comes down to that relationship between landlord and tenant and property manager.
Yeah, they have a huge responsibility. I mean, at the end of the day, they're looking after your asset as an investor, and they have to vet all these applications and these people that they're seeing. So they need to, you know, they basically need to be psychologists, and they also need to, you know, because you can get a great application on paper, but just something about that person.
They need to be a
just
good judge of character.
They absolutely have to be a great judge of character.
Thanks, Carmel. Thanks, Ben. The crux of it seems to be get decent photos presented well. Don't expect too much. Don't overprice yourself, and find a good manager.